Good afternoon, friends. If we look at our itihasas or Puranas, most of them are in the form of dialogues. These dialogues have been narrated between the Guru Shishya, from the Guru to the Shishya, or between two Ishwaras when certain doubts were taken for solving problems in the heavens. So, and these have been brought down to earth by rishis from the from the rishis loka, and time to time they have been revived, even though it has been destroyed by due to daityas, danavas, and because of hatred and so many other things. It has been revived and kept alive. And among these Puranas, the most number of conversations that we come across are between Shiva and Parvati. There have been conversations over every possible subject and that we have been blessed on earth due to the grace of rishis who take birth here from Tapoloka, where they felt that then whenever they felt the need to restore the scriptures according to the needs of the humanity. So many times we find our scriptures are lost, and suddenly some scripture comes up. It emerges from somewhere, either due to the birth of some dedicated sadhak who gets these revelations from the Tapoloka, from the rishis. And over the recent years, these have been happening, and we have received several downloads. So here, many times these revive in order to destroy the adharmic forces or the evil forces or the demonic forces, so as to establish dharma, in order to prevent actually annihilation. Otherwise, total annihilation would have happened. So to prevent that, this is restored. The balance is restored from time to time. And of all those conversations, this dialogues between Shiva and Parvati, the dialogues that have an important role in influencing the life force of human beings and channelizing them to a certain life's purpose, while providing enabling circumstances for evolving into higher versions of themselves. These can be applied by leaders in their work environment, as well as in alignment of their organizational goals, without diminishing their own values. The science of yoga was revealed by Lord Shiva to Parvati, and it is known as the Shiva Samhita. The secrets contained at many places. Shiva tells Parvati that this is extremely secret. Do not tell this to anybody other than those who are deserving of it. So these include many disciplines of power and realization, like the practice of postures, breath regulation, pratyahara, purification of the tattvas, that is elements, and the nadis. Nadis, the neurotransmitter, neurological system in the body, and which convey neurotransmitters convey the messages between between neurons. So, and also it includes the transmutation of energies in the 7 body spirit energy vortices, which are called plexus, which are there lying on the spinal column, which is also known as cerebrospinal system. Now, with the japa of bija mantras, it is possible to awaken, activate, regulate these energy centers. And we all know the Kundalini Shakti is there in the triangular sacrum bone at the base of the spine, in the below the tailbone, which when activated passes through the 7 energy centers to reach the top of the head, fontanel bone area, in order to connect with the cosmic power above, which is spread all over. This gives us a certain global viewpoint It gives us a broader vision to be able to analyze or assess everything in life. So it's a different perspective altogether, very much different from the narrow vision that we have. So, Shiva also tells about this particular Kundalini Shakti and how to take this energy to passing through the seven chakras or the energy centers to reach the Brahmarandra, that is at the fontanel bone area. Through Samadhi. That is, Samadhi is a state of meditative state where there is no thoughts and you only contemplate on such very deep issues. So as a Jiva, as an individual soul, we are inherently, we carry the spark of the Paramatma, and our purpose is to not only understand that, connect to it, and if possible, during the course of this life, connect this soul to the Supreme Paramatma. For that, we have to cross through several understandings of the enchantments of Maya and also the hurdles caused by avidya or ignorance. So this conversation between Shiva and Shakti on yoga is fundamental. It is to understand that which delineates the process and how the sense of separateness is eliminated. We often feel ourselves separate from the world outside. So how to understand and delineate it for the Jivatma to regain oneness with the Paramatma while in the human body. We don't have to die for that purpose. While in the human body, we can attain that state and live rest of our life in the consciousness of that state. So it is that sacred knowledge derived from meditation that leads to the realization of the Supreme Spirit. It also discards all doctrines which lead to false knowledge. So we know what is genuine, what is correct, and accordingly follow the path that comes naturally to us, because there are several options like Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, there is Pashana Marga, Tantra Marga, Advaita, so many philosophies are there. So which is appealing to us and which draws us naturally to its concept, because ultimately all the paths lead to the same destination. But if we select the path that is conducive to our nature, those are called tendencies or vasanas, which are developed over several lifetimes, which becomes registered in our energy body. So when we adopt a practice or that path which is conducive to that, our path becomes easier. Otherwise, everything is a challenge. So then Shiva insists, the Shiva Samhita, it is a text which the Lord says it is able to unite the individual soul to the cosmic soul. Shiva also insists that this knowledge of Yoga Shastra should not be imparted except to a deserving person. It is only for those who are initiated into Vidya or knowledge. Initiation into knowledge. Now here, knowledge means the essence, the energy of knowledge, or the concept of knowledge, that knowingness. So who have been initiated into that, then will be able to grasp any subject of knowledge. So initially he speaks of Karmakanda. It consists of injunctions and prohibitions, what should not be done. So first, it's not the do's, we should know the don'ts. Don'ts should be known first. So they are nitya, what has to be done are nitya karmas, naimitya karmas, kamya karmas, that is desirable options. And also fruits of actions also are mentioned. Now, many places, what is not to be done is not mentioned in most of the scriptures. That is why the one scripture which was lost, lost in the Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga means the After the Kruta Yuga is the first kalpa, the Kruta, that of, if you take Brahma's lifetime. So that Kruta Yuga is no more taken into calculation of Brahma's life anymore. Because now Brahma's life is 51 years. He's on 51. So the Kruta Yuga portion is completely, it's been lost. There is no scriptures of that available. Only references to that is there in the other scriptures. So, but then the balance of the Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga, these three yugas were combined and then split or calculated into smaller Chatur Yugas of 12,000 years each, where there is Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. So all the four yugas which we see as per the present calculation is of the Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga of the cosmic cycle. Kruta Yuga of the cosmic cycle is set aside because Brahma has already crossed 50 years. Now he's 51 years. So we need to. So it's important to understand the Shastras deeply and not simply casually. Hence, Shiva shows a higher way for the spiritual aspirants, advocating jnana. Jnana is knowledge. So Karma Kanda is there. Sorry. Karma Kanda is Nitya Karmas, Naimitya Karmas, Vishesha Karmas. These karmas are for all. They have to be done. Nitya Karmas are daily karmas. That has to be done. Naimitya Karmas are specific duties according to the role of you in the family, in society that you play. Vishesha karmas are occasional karmas where you have to do during special occasions like your birthday or Shraddha or whatever, any other such occasions. And other karmas, and then that we have Prarabdha karmas. Prarabdha karmas are karmas that we bring from the past, that is backlog. The backlog of karmas which we bring, which has to be experienced. Now, we have been living several thousands of lifetimes. Several lifetimes we have lived. And in every lifetime, we have not completely made nil balance. So there is always something carried forward. Now that carried forward, it accumulates over several lifetimes. Now when we take birth, we don't bring back the whole backlog. We decide, it is pre-decided before birth, how much backlog we'll have to experience during this lifetime. How much of that prarabdha karmas we will have to face, and accordingly circumstances join together or gather, and we experience our prarabdha karmas. We don't face all the prarabdha karmas in one lifetime. So this is as far as karma kanda is concerned. So a jiva that is deluded, he sees many when the Atma or Brahma is one. So because of his involvement in actions, continuously performing actions, he sees everything as separate. So we have to go to the next step of gaining the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, in order to know the totality of things. So here there's a reference made to, as through jaundiced eyes, white appears yellow. Similarly, through the disease of ignorance, this world appears in the spirit, an error very difficult to be removed. So the first thing that we need to do is remove ignorance. The world is in a process of continuous change. Every day we see change, and creatures are dying every moment. Some are perishing. This whole world of forms and formless comes out of, it has emerged or manifested out of avidya. Initially, when there is nothing, or when everything is absent, that absent state is ignorance or tamasic state, inertia. So inertia it is from there that everything has emerged. So initially it is out of ignorance it comes out. So at every creative stage we need to um, touch that particular source of knowledge. We need to go to the source to get that knowledge to be able to manifest. So just as the space does not mix with the five false states of matter, so also the spirit does not mix with this ever-changing universe. Just like when we have these five elements, earth, fire, water, space, the etherical matter is separate. So also the consciousness or the spirit, it does not get mixed up with this, it's always separate. And even the energy body is like a covering. It is it's like encapsulated. So that spirit is always pure and whole. So from devas to the material universe, all are pervaded by the spirit. So that one thing that's common with all is this spirit of consciousness. There is one Sachidananda, one truth, existence, bliss, existence, knowledge, bliss, Sat, Chit, Ananda. So this physical body, when we take a physical body, it is for experiencing these things. If gods also, if they have to make any changes in their system or in anything what they want to make a change, they have to take a gross body and take birth on earth. Because in heavens, even though in the heaven they will be performing actions, but those actions does not bear fruits. So there is no karmas for them. They will just be doing actions, they'll be enjoying, means there is no repercussions of that. So when there is no repercussions, no change will happen. That is status quo. So that is why we need to, if they want to bring about change, supposing in the process of going on doing actions, they have developed jealousy or they have developed anger, or if some quality they have developed, then that has to be, if it has to be removed or changed, or some situation has to be reset, they'll have to take birth on earth. That then only, so that's why we find gods also taking birth on earth. The yogi destroys this phenomenal universe by realizing that it is the result of the Adya Aropa, that superimposition, and by means of apavada, refutation of wrong belief, that all this has happened. The confusion or the misunderstanding, the projections have all happened because of these two things: superimposition or assuming something which is not real. Like when there was a desire in God to know himself. First he wanted to know, who am I? To know himself, he had to have something from where he could know. So that is why first thing that came is reflection. So from that reflection, he stood there and then he wanted to know. Then when that reflection started thinking of who am I, then the Mahamaya manifested, and from Mahamaya everything else manifested, which is there in all scriptures. So this particular, it's like a superimposition. His reality, something he has imposed on them, and that is why he is a Adya Aropa. The first blame goes on him, that he has created a superimposition on himself, which is manifested as this world. And and therefore all that is manifested, if it is by refutation, as to whether refutation in the sense by discrimination, whether what we are seeing is the truth or how much is it related to the real truth, and then you progress further to that of the Supreme Brahma. So the Supreme Brahma, when he desired to know himself, a reflection came about. That reflection was again reflected as Mahamaya. And from that Mahamaya, we got Akasha, ether, air. From Akasha, that is space, air, earth, air, water, air, and from air and from ether, air came about. From air and ether combined became fire. From the triple compound of ether, air, fire, we get water. And from the combination of ether, air, fire, and water, or you can say space, space, air, fire, and water, we get earth element. So thus this the every element has some portion component of the previously subtle element. So the quality of space is sound. From space only we get sound. From air we get motion, movement, wind, and then from and because of that movement, the sense of touch got generated. It's only when something moves we get the sense of touch. Then from air we get fire. From between that fire element, that fire is the form that gets manifested. The form is the quality of fire. And then from fire we get water, and water is the sense of taste, and earth the sense of smell. So all these elements, primordial elements, got manifested. It didn't get manifest entirely in a straight line. We get the tanmatras, the senses also in between, with the development of each of these elements. So thus Akasha has one quality, air has two qualities, fire has three qualities, water has four qualities, and earth has five qualities. And then now we can see the form through the eyes, smell through the nose, taste through the tongue, touch through the skin, and sound through the ears. So these are the sense organs. The sense organs that senses these things. These are organs of perception. This whole universe has come out of this total intelligence, or called Chaitanya. Chaitanya is actually conscious, but conscious awareness, you can say. Material, consciousness, matter. There are two forces, the outgoing energy and the transformation energy, which are of great potential and gives happiness. So Mahamaya is defined by three qualities, Sattva-guna, Rajo-guna, and Tamo-guna. Sattva-guna is rhythm in nature. Rajo-guna is energy, and Tamo-guna is inertia. So the non-intelligent form of Maya, covered by avarana, that is veil or concealment, manifests itself as the universe due to the force of Vikshepa. Vikshepa is the outgoing energy. When the energy moves outward from the primordial egg, the cosmic egg, then everything starts manifesting. So when avidya has an excess, in ignorance, if tamasic content is excess, that is inertia is more, it manifests as the Shakti that manifests is Durga. The intelligence which presides over is Ishvara. When avidya has an excess of sattvic Shakti, it manifests the Sattva guna, that is your rhythmic guna, rhythm, Sattvic guna. She manifests, the feminine aspect manifests as Lakshmi, and the intelligence which presides over the intelligence, that is the male aspect, is Vishnu. And when avidya has an avidya, that's from avidya, ignorance, when there is more of rajasic guna, that is energetic, she manifests, the Shakti that manifests is Saraswati, and the presiding deity, the male aspect is Brahma. So that is how we have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the Trinity. They are all coming from avidya. From avidya, they manifest. Brahma has dominance of Rajoguna in nature, Vishnu has a dominance of Sattva-guna in nature, Shiva has dominance of Tamoguna. So the Supreme Being manifested in through all of them, and the Supreme Being is the spirit in all these Ishwaras, in all of them. And Shakti has Shakti, or this Mahamaya aspect, which is a expresses as various, the permutations and combination of various names and forms, has all the three gunas in different proportions. And Surya is the sense of doership, sense of I, or I do. So that sense which we have when we are born is contributed, or it comes from Surya, that is the sun. That is why we connect to astrology, because Surya is the center of the Surya Mandala, the solar system. So everything, since he gives the sense of I, or I of our purpose, so it is regulated by the forces or currents of all the planets that Surya governs. That Surya's gravitational pull governs all of them and keeps them in particular order of motion. So the quality of each of the planets influences us on earth. So we'll continue with this talk in the next session. Jai Gajanan.